A warm welcome to all the viewers for the course Strength of Materials, AME 302. Myself Thiapal, Assistant Professor of Department of Mechanical Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, is going to give a lecture on Module 5, that is Torsional in Circular Shaft. And in this module, today I am going to give the detailed lecture on the combination of shaft. So far in my previous lecture, I have already discussed about the torsional effect that is occurring in the shaft. So when torsion is provided over the shaft, then the shear stress is induced in that particular shaft. Then I have talked about the design of the shaft on the basis of the strength criteria, on the basis of stiffness criteria, that how we are going to find out the design of the shaft. Also, in my previous lecture, I have described about the torsional stiffness, torsional rigidity, torsional flexibility. So everything I have discussed in the previous lecture. So today in this particular lecture, we are going to have some different aspect of this combination of the shaft. Now in the previous lecture, I have also mentioned you that what will be the strength of the shaft if it is a solid cylinder and if it is a hollow cylinder. So here also you have able to know that the polar moment of inertia, it is obtained maximum in the case of hollow section than in your solid section. And this polar moment of inertia, if it is having the maximum value or the higher value, then you can obtain the resistance of the shaft also higher. So if the resistance is increased with a higher value, then obviously it is good for the strength of the shaft, because as the resistance is getting high, obviously the strength of the shaft is also getting high. So today in this particular lecture, we are going to have a different aspect of this shaft, where we are going to consider some sort of combination of the shaft. Now combination of the shaft means what? It can be made up of two different material. Okay, so when two different material of two different dia, when they are coming in contact with each other, they can be in series, they can be in parallel, then how it is going to affect the torque, or I mean to say the torsion of the shaft, even the angle of twist or permissible angle of twist of that particular shaft. So in this particular lecture, I am going to describe the entire thing related to the combination of shaft. So before we start with the combination of shaft, now let's have a look at the contents of this particular lecture. So initially we are having the contents with us. So first thing is what? Now we are going to discuss the series combination of shaft. So when you are going to term this as series, that means of several diameter of different length of different material, when the shaft are combined together in a series, then we need to know what is the basic torque that has been implemented in the entire shaft. So if various metals are associated and of various diameter, of various length, then obviously the total torque of the entire shaft will be summation of all the individual shaft. So individual shaft means, suppose you have considered a shaft AB, it is combined with another shaft BC. So the total torque that has been induced in that particular shaft, that is AC, is equal to torque induced in AB plus torque induced in BC. So this is a basic concept for the series combination of the shaft. Next we are talking about the parallel combination of shaft. In this parallel combination of shaft, just consider a shaft that is AB, and inside that particular shaft another material, another diameter, the same shaft has been inserted there of various material. Now they are in parallel. Okay, so AB is a shaft. Inside that you have already inserted another shaft that is of BC. Both are made up of different materials, but they are inside one of the another. That means they are in parallel combination of shaft. So in this condition, the torque of the shaft 1 is equal to the torque induced in the shaft 2. So here basically the torque is equal for shaft 1 also, for shaft 2 also. Just assume as the torque T. So this is called the parallel combination of shaft. Next, we are going to discuss that what is the strain energy that has been stored in the torsion or the shaft. That is the strain energy in torsion. What do you mean by strain energy? And that we'll be discussing elaborately in this today's lecture. And finally, we are going to have some short of numerical practice also. So initially we are starting with the series combination of shaft. So look at this particular figure. What you can see is that here this is one of the shaft A and B. A and B both are shaft of having length L1. Similarly, B and C is another shaft having the length L2. And you can see it has been rotated with a clockwise movement. And this theta is what? Your twisting angle. Theta AB and theta BC is all about your twisting angle. And this is your torque, that is your T. And this is fixed to a plane. So AB is the length of a shaft and which has been considered to be L1. BC is another shaft and you have got a length has been considered as L2. And you can see a twisting moment has been given here. Theta AB is the twisting angle of the shaft AB and theta BC is the twisting angle of the shaft B and C. So as we are talking for the series combination of shaft, first and foremost I would like to say that series combination of shaft is done basically to transmit the torque from one shaft to the another shaft. And for series connection coupling are used and torque in all shafts are connected in series, which will be equal to T is equal to T1 equal to T2. So this is the thing that you have to remember. Okay, for series combination of shaft, the value is that the torque that has been generated in T1 that is equal to T2 and that is equal to your T. So the torque is basically the same if they are in equal series. And if you need to know that the angle of the twist from A to C. So angle of the twist you need to know from A to C. This is the entire angle of twist that will be occurred in this particular shaft. Then in that particular situation, you have to remember that is theta AC is equal to theta AB plus theta BC. So this angle of twist for the entire shaft is also equal to the angle of the twist that has been occurred by the shaft AB plus angle of the twist that has been occurred by your BC. Again, I'm repeating, this series combination of shaft is basically done to transmit the torque from one shaft to another. And for series connection, coupling are basically used and torque in all the shaft connected in series are basically equal to one another. That is T1 is equal to T2 equal to T. So if I have a look for the total angle of twist from A to C, then I must say theta AC is equal to theta AB plus theta BC. Now, if you want to derive this equation in detail, what is the angle of twist for AB? That is equal to torque into length of AB by modulus of rigidity G1 into polar moment of inertia, that is IP1. So from the second equation, it is totally clear, that is theta AC is equal to T into L by G into IP plus T into L2 by G2 into IP2. So this is the basic concept of theta AC for T into L1 by G1 into IP1 plus T into L2 by G2 into IP2. So this has been provided it here. Now we will be discussing for the parallel combination of the shaft. So in case of parallel combination of shaft, all of you can see that this is one of the shaft. And inside that you are feeling another shaft. So this is shaft number 1 which has been considered of material 1, and this is shaft number 2 which has been considered as material 2, and the total length of the shaft has been considered as A and B of length L. And you can see this is the twisting moment or torque that has been provided in the shaft. So in parallel combination of shaft, what idea we are having? So when one shaft is inside the other shaft, the two shafts are said to be connected in parallel. And the most important thing is that parallel combination is done by providing key between the shafts. Again I am repeating, when one shaft is inside the other shaft, then two shafts are said to be connected in parallel, and parallel combination is done just only by providing a key between the shaft. So it is very easy for all of us to make a combination of a shaft, and this combination of a shaft is termed as parallel when one shaft is inserted inside the other one. So now you consider the IP1, that is the polar moment of inertia, and G1 as the modulus of rigidity are the both properties that are for outsider shaft, and IP2 and G2 are basically the properties of the inner shaft. So here you can see that we are having an outer shaft and we are having an inner shaft. So outer shaft I am considering IP1 as your polar moment of inertia for the outer shaft and modulus of rigidity as G1. And whenever I am talking about the IP2 and G2, that is the property of the inner shaft, polar moment of inertia has been considered as IP2 and modulus of rigidity has been considered as G2 for the properties of your inner shaft. Now since there is no relative motion between them, that's why the angle of twist in both the shaft will be equal. Just have a look here. In the series combination of shaft, I have told you that total angle of twist, that is theta AC, is combination of the angle of twist for AB plus angle of twist for BC. But in case of parallel combination of shaft, you have to remember that since there is no relative motion between them, that's why the angle of twist in both the shaft will be equal. That means theta 1 is equal to theta 2. So here from this you can say if theta 1 is equal to theta 2, this is the basic, condition of your parallel combination of shaft. That's why what I have told here, that is torque for shaft 1 into length is same for both of the cases. So again I am repeating, torque for shaft 1 into length by modulus of rigidity for your shaft 1 into polar moment of inertia for shaft 1, because you have got different dia. That's why you will be having some different polar moment of inertia too. In case of this one, it has been treated as angle of twist for your shaft 1. Now when theta 2 you are telling, that is the angle of twist, it has been told that T2 into L by G2 into IP2. That is another thing. So if I ask you what is the total torque that has been sheared by both the shaft, then I must say that T1 plus T2 is equal to T. Again I am repeating, if it has been asked to you that what is the total torque that has been sheared by both the shaft, then you must say T1 plus T2 is equal to T. So here from this particular lecture, I would like to say you, all of you, that in case of series, T1 is equal to T2 is equal to 3. But in case of parallel, the total torque induced is equal to T1 plus T2. And in case of angle of twist for the parallel series, theta 1 is equal to theta 2. But in case of series, an entire angle of twist for the entire shaft AC, that is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2. So this is the basic difference that you can see for series combination of shaft and parallel combination of shaft. So you have to be very thorough with this particular portion. Now let's have a look for the numerical. So in this numerical, what we are doing is that a stepped shaft is subjected to couple in same direction at a change in this section and at free end as shown in the figure. Now the length of each primestic circular portion is 600 mm and diameter are of 80 mm, one is 60 mm and the last is 40 mm. So from the fixed end to the free end respectively, find the angle of twist in degree at the free end, and you need to take G is equal to 80 gigapascal. So how you can see, this is one shaft, this is shaft number 1, just consider these as shaft number 1, these as shaft number 2 and these as shaft number 3. So here you can see the first shaft is having a dia of how much? 80 millimeter. Second is of having 60 millimeter and third is having 40 millimeter. And both are having, all are having, the torque has been given to you 1 kilonewton meter, 2.5 kilonewton meter and 4 kilonewton meter. And the length you can see is 600 millimeter. This is also 600 millimeter and this is also 600 millimeter. Now how you are going to have the solution? So initially you have taken this figure. So you can see this is the load has been given, that is 1 kilonewton meter. This has been inserted 2 kilonewton meter and this has been inserted 4 kilonewton meter. So initially the torque has been given. So if you consider only the CD, then your torque is how much? 1 kilonewton. But when you are considering the torque in the shaft BC, you see this 2.5 kilonewton is there. Along with this 1 is also there. So your total torque in the shaft for BC is what? 3.5 kilonewton. Now if you think about the torque in AB, then AB is the what? Total of all the torque that has been exerted over AB. So first you are getting 4 is here, then 2.5, that has been given 2.5 here, and this is your 1, so you have written 1. So your total torque you are receiving for AB is 7.5 kilonewton meter, and for this total torque in shaft CD is your 1 kilonewton meter. Now you need to know the value for your polar moment of inertia. So polar moment of inertia is for circular shaft is pi into d square by 32. So first the polar moment of inertia for CD shaft, where the diameter has been considered as 40. So this is your pi into 40 square by 32. It gives you this value, that is 251.33 into 10 to the power 3 millimeter to the power 4. This is polar moment of inertia. The polar moment of inertia for BC, the dia for BC is what? 60. So pi into 60 square by 32, you have got 1.0 2723 into 10 to the power 6 millimeter to the power 4. And for polar moment of inertia for shaft AB, and the diameter you can see is your 80 square. So your IP for AB is equal to pi into 80 square by 32, which is known as 4.0212 into 10 to the power 6 millimeter to the power 4. So this is the entire polar moment of inertia for this particular shaft. Now I have already told if it is in series, obviously the shaft is in series. So if I ask you what is the twisting angle for the entire series, then obviously the thing you have to remember it is theta AD is equal to theta AB plus theta BC plus theta CD. So after making the summation of all the angle of twist, you are going to get the entire angle of twist for your entire shaft. And that's what it has been done here. T into L by G into I for AB, for BC and for CD. So after summing all the data, the thing that you have received, that is angle of twist for the entire shaft AD, that is none other than 0.06445 radian. Now radian has to be converted into degree, and that has been done here. Now it has been asked to you, what is the angle of twist at the D, that means at the free end. So here you know that the fixed, your angle of twist will be 0. So that is 0. So theta D minus theta A is equal to what? This particular value. So the value for theta D is what? No, 3 degree 41 minute. So this is you have got. Why theta A value is 0? Because A is fixed. Again I am repeating, since A is fixed, that's why you have got the value for theta A, that is the angle of twist at the fixed end, as 0. So if I ask you what is the total angle of twist at the free end, then this will be your correct answer. That is 3 degree 41 minutes. Now let's move to the next slide. So now we have got another numerical, and in this numerical what you can see is that it has been given here an aluminium shaft with a constant diameter. So your diameter is constant all throughout this particular thing. So please keep in mind about this one. And here it has been told that it has been pulled by some torque which has been applied to the pulley of radius 500 millimeter as attached here in the figure. And you have to consider the modulus of rigidity, that is G, as 35 gigapascal. And what you need to know is the determination, the relative angle of twist of gear D relatively to pool A. So this you can see, this is the gear of D. How much angle of twist you are providing to gear D in relative to pool your A. So you can see this is a series of gear you can see has been attached. I mean to say pulley has been there of radius how much? 500 millimeter. And modulus of rigidity has been considered as 35 gigapascal. Now let's move to the solution. So initially what you need to do is that you have made a series of the shaft. So this is AB, this is BC and this is CD. So you can see torque at A, it has been given as 600 here in this direction. So we will be shifting from here to this one. So you can see at this D portion, it is what? Towards this direction. So you have at 800 Newton. Now if you come to the portion C and B, 800 you have positive, but this minus 1100 is the opposite direction. That's why you have done minus. So this is your minus 300 Newton meter for this torque. Now come to the torque for BA. BA. So BA, what you are getting, you see from this left hand side coming to the right hand side, you have got 800 positive minus 1100. Again you have got 900 positive. So ultimately you got the 600 positive. So you can see here also 600 has been given. That means your braking thing has been done correctly, perfectly. So from this particular equation you have calculated torque for DC, torque for CB and torque for BA. After that what you are going to do is that polar moment of inertia, because you need to know the polar moment of inertia. Now since the shaft you can see it is in series. That's why your polar moment of inertia for DC bar, polar moment of inertia for CB bar and polar moment of inertia for BA bar all are same. And your dia is also same because initially it has been told 40 millimeter. That's why according to polar moment of inertia for a circular shaft, it has been considered as pi by 32 into d to the power 4. And this has been given here, pi by 32 into diameter, that is 40 to the power 4. So from figure this one you are able to calculate the polar moment of inertia, which is equal to 25.13 into 10 to the power 4. Okay. Next, since the shaft is in the series, you need to know the angle of twist of the entire shaft. So when you are calculating the angle of twist for the entire shaft, what you are doing is that theta dA is equal to theta DC plus theta CB plus theta BA. So that means the angle of twist for the entire shaft AD, it is equal to the angle of twist for DC portion of the bar as well as angle of twist for CB portion of the bar plus angle of twist for BA portion of the bar. So you are separately finding it and making a summation. And finally you get the result of what? That is 0.2160 radian. And if you convert it into degree, then the value of the theta will be 12.37 degree. So in the question it has been asked to you, what is the relative angle of twist of gear D with respect to A? That means in D you are making a relative angle, and with that relative angle only it is affecting your pulley A to have the moment. So what is the relative angle of twist that you are offering for angle for the gear D? And the answer is 12.37. So this is the basic requirement of this particular problem. Someone, if you see the numerical at the initial first step, it seems to be very difficult. It seems to be very complicated, but trust me, it is not so much difficult. It's a very simple, and I know that you all are aware of the formula. Since you all are aware of the formula, you just place the formula, you will get the perfect solution. Now we are considering the next numerical. What it has been told, a primestic shaft consisting of a solid brass rod of diameter 32 millimeter and which is inside a steel tube of diameter 50 millimeter. So you are having a steel tube of diameter 50 millimeter, and inside that steel tube you have inserted a primestic shaft of solid brass rod material which is having a diameter of 32 millimeter. So both the shafts are firmly jointed. That means shaft 1 and shaft 2 both are joined together. And the combined assembly is just subjected to a torque of 1000 Newton meter. Now you need to know the calculate the shear stress that has been developed in the brass and steel shaft, and you need to assume the shear modulus of steel which is equal to the twice the shear modulus of your brass. So just have a look. This simple is very simple. The term as you can see and the figure that you can See here, it is just an example of a parallel composite bar. So you can see the steel tube of 50 millimeter diameter, and this is the inner tube made up of solid brass material which is having 32 millimeter diameter. So you can see outer steel and inside is your brass, and a torque has been given of how much? 1000 Newton meter. So what is the solution? Just consider the inner diameter, that is di or the db, as 32, and outer diameter as d0, that has been got to be as 50 millimeter. So you know that for the parallel, the total torque will be torque of the steel plus torque of the brass. So that is equal to your how much torque? Total torque has been given to you 1000 Newton meter. So since it is in parallel section, you know that theta for the steel tube is equal to theta for the brass tube. So when you are aware of the thing, that means from this particular equation you have got a relation of the torque, that is Ts by Tv is equal to 9.96, or you can say Ts is equal to what? This 9.96 into Tb. So if you put it here and you solve the equation, then from equation 1 and from this equation 2, this from equation 1 and this from equation 2, you will get what? The answer of Ts and Tb, that is the torque for steel and torque for brass. So torque for steel is equal to 908.42 Newton meter, and torque for brass, it is 91.57 Newton meter. So it is easily solved from this particular problem. Now you need to know what is the maximum stress that has been induced in the shaft. Well, you have already studied that maximum stress in the steel is equal to your torque of the shaft by the polar section modulus, that is Zp. And this is maximum shear stress in brass, it is what? Torque in the brass by polar section modulus for the brass material. So after putting the value of the respective material, you have already achieved the maximum shear stress for steel and maximum shear stress for your brass. So you can see this is the diagram that has been shown. Slowly at the center it is 0. But as you go on increasing, it is getting you the maximum value, maximum shear stress value. So I think it is very much clear from this numerical how to solve out the numerical. Only very simple formula you have to remember. Now we are talking about the strain energy in torsion. So the torsional strain energy on a shaft is none other than, it is equal to the work done in twisting. So just remember, total strain energy is equal to your work done in twisting. So when you are performing the twisting, some sort of work done is done on the shaft, and that is only equal to your torsional strain energy. And torsional strain energy is represented by U, and the formula is half into T into theta. So half into what? Torque into angle of twist. So there has been told, T has been told as applied torque and theta is your angle of twist. And due to this torque, the shear stresses that have developed in the metal, torque is the one and the only reason to induce shear stress in any sort of metal or in the surface of the shaft. I have already told from the beginning lecture that due to this torque only, the shear stress are developed in metal as well as in the surface of the shaft. So you know how important the torque is to induce the shear stress. So hence strain energy due to torque can be represented in term of shear stress also. Though you are talking about strain energy, but it can be represented in terms of shear stress. And if it is done so, then strain energy per unit volume, it is represented by tau by 2g. Again I am repeating, strain energy per unit volume, it is termed as tau into 2g. And this tau square by 2g, it is known as shear resilience. So this is known as shear resilience. What is shear resilience? That is tau square into 2g. So you have to be very thorough with the content. What do you mean by shear resilience? And it is denoted by tau square by 2g. Now strain energy in torsion you can see in this particular figure. What you can see is that this is a particular shaft and this is the outer radius. This is a solid shaft. So this is R and you have considered a strip and this thickness has been considered as dr. Then you just have a look here, that is if you consider an elemental tube of radius r and thickness as dr and you have considered the length of the shaft as l, then your volume is what? dv is equal to 2 pi r into dr into l. That is area into length is your volume. So if you consider the strain energy stored in the dv volume, then it is du is equal to tau square by 2g into dv. Now if you integrate from where? 0 to r, because what is the minimum one? This minimum point is your 0 and maximum point is r. So if you need to know the total strain energy that has been induced in this shaft, obviously you have to integrate from 0 to r, and that has been done here. After integration, what you get the value? That is this one. Tau square 2g 2 pi r dr into L, you are going to integrate from 0 to r. Now according to torsional formula, you know tau by r is equal to T into IP, where tau is represented by T by IP into r. So if you integrate it and if you put the value of the IP as pi d to the power 4 by 32, then finally you will achieve the strain energy which is equal to your T square into L by 2G into IP. So in case 2, if you consider the strain energy in the term of maximum stress, then you have to do this one. That is U is equal to tau square 2G 2 pi r drl into L, which has to be integrated for 0 to r. And you know for tau maximum, this is what? Tau is by r is equal to tau max by capital R. Again, if you put the value, then it is none other than your strain energy is equal to tau square maximum by 4g into volume. So here you can say strain energy stored in the shaft per unit volume can be represented by U, that is equal to tau max square by 4g. And the third case for strain energy for a hollow shaft, you can go with this formula tau max, where this is the thing, that is U is integrating hollow. When it is coming, then it will be not from 0. Your lower limit will be the inner radius and the upper limit will be your outer radius. So after putting, you can obtain the strain energy per unit volume, that is none other than tau max by 4g into r0 square plus ri square by r0 square. r0 is your outer radius, ri is your inner radius. So this is a very simple solution that has been given to you. A solid shaft 120 mm diameter, 1.5 mm long, which is used to transmit the power from one shaft to one pulley to another, and it has been asked to you to define the maximum strain energy that can be stored in the shaft if maximum allowable stress is 50 megapascal. Volume, it is known to you pi by 4 into d square into L, that has been given, and U formula you know, that is tau square by 4c or g into V. So finally you have achieved the answer, which is equal to 132.5 into 10 to the power 3 Newton millimeter. So thank you viewers for watching the video, and here I conclude my video where I have discussed today about the composite bar or the shaft for the torsional equation, and you have seen that how series is calculated, how parallel shaft are calculated in terms of angle of twist as well as in terms of torque, and how you are going to solve out the various numerical. Well, in this lecture I have also defined you that if it is of different material and you are using in a same bar, that means it is in parallel connection, and if it is in parallel connection, then the total torque will be the summation of torque that has been induced in shaft 1 plus shaft 2. But in case of series, what is that? That is the torque produced in 1 is equal to torque produced in 2 is equal to, say, the torque as T. So you can see for angle of twist also, In case of series, that is the total angle of twist will be summation of angle of twist for shaft 1 plus angle of twist for shaft 2. But in case of parallel, both are equal. So this is a basic difference for the series and combination, series combination and parallel combination of the shaft. So I think from this particular lecture, the entire video is clear to all of you and you know how this problem can be solved. It is a very easy portion of this torsional equation. So thank you viewers for watching the video. If you have liked the video, then please subscribe my channel and like the video. And also comment me if you are facing any problem to solve out any sort of numerical. I will be solving it out. Thank you very much.